Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the 143. We're coming at you live with episode 196. Nick, how are we doing tonight?
Okay, I did not realize how close we were to 200. We are 4 away.
Yes, we are.
Another week of NFL football, another week of disappointment as Cowboys fans, and we're here to bring it all to you.
Yes, we are. I just want to give a quick shout out. NHL season's underway, and the Stars are rolling. So it's worth mentioning that Dallas has one decent sports team right now.
Yep. They are 2-0 right now, probably 3-0 as what it's looking like. We're recording in the middle of the third period of this game on Tuesday night, and those are all division games. So,
love to see
huge wins. They didn't give us an easy start, but that's something to look forward to. Not saying we've given up on the Cowboys, but just making it hard to look forward to something.
Ain't that the truth? Get into it. Stat of the week brought to you by our sponsor, Andrews Logistics. Patrick Mahomes is now tied with Josh Allen for the odds-on favorite to win the MVP after his performance on Sunday Night Football, thoroughly beating the Lions. I think Patrick Mahomes had 250, 3 touchdowns, and then a rushing touchdown as well. So he had a great game and catapulted him into the MVP favorite. I think Baker Mayfield and Daniel Jones are not getting the respect they deserve right now with the ball that they're playing, as well as Dak just has a bad defense. But, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are going to be up there. So that's your stat of the week.
I think you got to have Baker Mayfield absolutely in that conversation. Like, he has not he has not had a bad week.
No.
Even though they have a loss, you can't blame it all on him. But I think he's looking like one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. So just to not have him in that talk is disrespectful. Obviously, Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, but he was not all that good the first couple of weeks. They were off to a shaky start, and Baker and Tampa Bay, they've just been hot out of the gate from the
Josh Allen had a bad game this week, and he's had a couple bad weeks. So, agreed. That could change, obviously, going forward. We're only week 6.
We're going to Player of the Week.
6.
Didn't really want to do this person, but he's had another good week, second good week in a row as the running back one, Rico Dowdle. 30 carries, 183 yards, 4 catches, 56 yards, and a touchdown. He had a huge game 2 weeks ago. Whenever he was filling in for Chuba Hubbard, has another good game this week against the Dallas Cowboys. Kind of a revenge game for him. Not that there's really any bad blood there, just because there was, I don't know.
He left us.
It wasn't an ugly departure, but making a statement on trying to win a running back 1 spot, so good for him, and obviously carving up the Cowboys defense as per usual. Been saying it from the beginning. Cowboys defense is horrendous and causing us to lose games, and we're just wasting away a good offense.
Agreed. We'll get into it here in a bit. Thursday Night Football. Eagles come to MetLife to take on the New York Football Giants. Giants were heavy underdogs and drummed the Philadelphia Eagles as Cam Skattebo had a great night. Jackson Dart had a great night, and they won 34-17. And, shocker, Jalen Hurts stinks at throwing the football. So just another – it's tough when Saquon's not running for 1,000 yards a game. They can't figure it out. So,
and they had a chance to get back in the game when they were on their own 10 or so, whatever that was, and he misses a wide open Devonta Smith for what should have been a 90-yard touchdown. Nobody was within a country mile of him, and he just overthrows him by 10 yards.
That says a lot.
Hey, I'm glad you can throw the ball far, buddy, but if it's not accurate, it's not doing you any good or anyone else any good. Giants are looking, I wouldn't say they're forced to be reckoned with, but they're, I don't know. They're a weird football team because they beat the Chargers, who looked like, they were going to kind of run away with things. Had a hot start at 3-0, and then they dropped the next game against the New Orleans Saints. And so, are kind of, I don't know, don't really know how to feel about either team, and then they come and Eagles have a good defense, so to put up 34 points on that defense is pretty impressive. Cam Scadaboo's getting into a rhythm, making himself, he's won that starting job with Tyrone Tracy was out, and now that Tracy's back, they're still running with Cam Scadaboo, and Jackson Dart is looking pretty good, running it pretty well, throwing it pretty well, making some good decisions, but we'll see how it pans out. You got to put a couple good weeks together for us to kind of make a decision. And the only reason I say that is because, like I said, they lost to the Saints the week before, so still don't really know how to feel about this team, but it's looking like they're moving in the right direction.
Yep. Let's get into the Cowboys game. They go to Carolina. Everybody's saying, it's a trap game. There's a solid chance the Panthers upset the Cowboys. They did just that. The Cowboys lose by 3 on a last-second field goal as the defense needed to pin them at the end of the game, and the defense just couldn't get a stop. Shocker. This game, not really surprising. We called it a trap game. For me, it was more just the Panthers, number one, are not an awful football team, and number two, it doesn't take much to win against us right now. Dak has to be perfect in every aspect of the game. The offense has to put up points on every drive for us to have a chance to win games. There's not much to say. George Pickens had a great day. Dak had a good day. The offense looked really good, but the defense just giving up, 230 scrimmage yards to Rico Dowdle, who is not that great of a back. He's just playing really bad defenses right now. Bryce Young, who's an okay quarterback, looked good against us. At this point, Matty Eberflus has to go. I don't know any other way around it. You can blame the Micah thing as much as you want, but this is pathetic from the defense, and it doesn't look like we have a backbone at all defensively right now.
And they had 2 chances there at the end of the game on that last drive where it was a 3rd down very, very early on, and we made a stop and then have a costly penalty that extends the drive. And then when the Panthers get to the Cowboys, like 45 or something, they had just crossed the 50. It was a 4th and 3, and underneath linebacker has a chance to make a play on the ball, misses it, hits Hunter Renfrow for a quick slant across the middle, and that extends the drive. And then that was essentially the gut punch that killed it, because at that point they were just running the clock down to, get a good spot to kick the field goal. The offense has to go out and put up 7 every single time they get the ball, which is pretty unfortunate. Do feel like we have a good offense, but the defense is just not getting it done.
If we had a top 20 defense, we would win these games.
And the thing is, the secondary has just not looked good. Trayvon Diggs has not looked great. Deron Bland has not looked great.
Elam is awful.
Has had some costly penalties. And so, all those things kind of add up, and we're making every quarterback we face look like the next coming of Tom Brady. And it's just pretty ugly.
Gotten to the point where I just feel like me and Nick could play cornerback better than the guys we've got in there right now. I could
go out there and give up 80 yards and 3 touchdowns,
It's looking ridiculous. I don't really know what else to do other than make a change of defensive coordinator, just because this is not only the talent, is not bad on defense. We have talent. I'm not saying we have amazing talent, but we have talent. It's got to be at least partly a scheme thing. You got to change the scheme
because we know
zone coverage is not working.
All these guys are capable because they have all had good stints or good brief moments, good seasons or whatever here and there. It's just kind of, we need someone to come in and bring it all together. But it's not looking great for us. We got to make a change defensively, or else this season's in the trash.
Pretty much over. Yep. Tampa Bay taking on the 49ers. The 49ers are just an injury-ridden team, and they lose Fred Warner to a season-ending injury in this game. Just heartbreaking, because he is the heart and soul of their defense, as they have said. they are playing mostly backups right now, except for like Christian McCaffrey, and that's about it. And Mac Jones, give him props, and Kendrick Bourne, give him props. There have been playmakers on this team that have come out and showed up for them. They're 4-2, and they lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Mac Jones is like playing on a hurt leg. There's a lot of injured guys out there for the Niners, but the Bucs right now are rolling, and the Bucs have had their share of injuries. They lost Ime Egbuka.
Pretty much all of their running backs and wide receivers at one point.
And they just have guys keep stepping up to the plate. Tez Johnson came out of nowhere. Cameron Johnson came out of nowhere. They were saying Johnson and Johnson were taking over the game, and some rookies and the real
35 or whatever, however old Sterling Shepard is coming in making some plays. So,
but the real
it's just
guy
there.
The real guy is Baker Mayfield. Like we said earlier, he is the MVP right now. If we were giving the MVP to anyone at this moment, it'd be Baker Mayfield.
And it's because you look at the stats that he's putting up, and that's with a wide receiver 1, that's with a wide receiver 7. Whoever they're putting out there on the field, he's going out there and he's producing, and they're winning games.
And you just see it from the 3rd and 15 or whatever, when it looked like he was going to get sacked by 2 49ers, gets out of it, takes off, breaks a tackle, and then lunges for the first down and gets it. A very improbable first down.
Stretches out his arm just to get that extra yard or so. And then also all the guys, just everyone rallying around him too. He's just been a morale booster for everybody. And so he is looking like one of the best quarterbacks this year. And I don't think that's crazy to say, just with the level of football that he's been playing.
Yep.
The Buccaneers are looking like a force to be reckoned with. So we will see how the rest of the season pans out. But as of right now, they're looking pretty nasty. Once they get some more weapons back, it's kind of how do you stop them? And
exactly. Agreed. Bengals Packers, just briefly mention this game. The Packers have looked kind of sloppy in their last few games. And here's another one where they really should have drummed the Bengals, but they didn't. Joe Flacco did all right in his first start with the Bengals. He threw for 219 and 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase had 94 yards, 10 catches. Hopefully this Bengals team will be better with Joe Flacco, because they're in a lot of primetime games, and we're going to need them to not stink. So, but yeah.
Pretty low
Joe
scoring
Flacco.
for the Bengals, but they were they were in the game.
He got there on Tuesday.
In the fourth quarter, and it was 18-24, and I want to say there were a couple times on that last drive. You know what? There was a 3rd and 10, I believe it was, that you could have, if the Bengals defense could have made a stop. Sounds a lot like another defense we know.
Yes.
If they could have made a stop, they're punting the ball away, and you're getting the ball back with a couple minutes left in the fourth with a chance to touchdown, tie it, PAT, win by 1, but they blow it. And, Jordan Love finds a wide open Matthew Golden. They go down, kick a field goal, put it out of reach, and that was the game.
We will see Joe Flacco Thursday night against Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. They are calling it the Icy Hot Bowl, as I have seen, as 2 40-plus-year-old quarterbacks are going to be going at it for the first time since Brady and Breeze back in the day. So that has potential to be a decent game or an awful game. We will see. But
not quite that same echelon of talent, but the age level is there.
I'm thinking about it, and I'm looking at it, and I don't think there's been a Thursday night game. There has been. There's been one Thursday night game, Packers, Commanders, that was not a divisional game. Other than that, these Thursday night games have been divisional games, and I love it. Because divisional games are normally competitive, and I think they're doing a really good job, the NFL, of trying to clean up the Thursday night games that have been known to be notoriously awful. So that was just a quick side note. But Lions Chiefs Sunday Night Football. This one was a snooze fest, as the Chiefs kind of just controlled the game the whole way through, and the Lions did not look great except for their first drive, pretty much. Other than that, the Lions just didn't put up much of a fight, in my opinion. The big part of this game was Brian Branch punching Juju Smith-Schuster in the face after the game ended, and there being a big scrum. Brian Branch has been suspended for a game, but not as great of a game as we were all hoping for.
Things for the Chiefs are kind of starting to fall into place just because obviously they're 3-3 now, and they beat a very good Detroit Lions team. Patrick Mahomes is looking like his normal prime self. Obviously, they've got Xavier Worthy back. He wasn't super productive in the game on Sunday night, but it's just good to have that addition on the offense. The connection between Mahomes and Kelsey has that flame is starting to be reignited. Kelsey had 78 receiving yards off of 6 catches. And then also Rashee Rice is supposed to be making his return this upcoming week. And he is supposed to be he's expected to be their wide receiver 1 and just an absolute weapon for them. Mm-hmm. And so if you have him back, that kind of shifts the focus off of other guys. So it makes it to where everyone else can be just as lethal because now you've got Rice, Worthy, and then Juju and Hollywood Brown have looked good, and then Kelsey is starting to get going again. So it looks like things are kind of starting to fall in place for the Chiefs. They were very sluggish at the beginning of the season, but the defense has been good, which is kind of, they've got Spags over there as their defensive coordinator, who's been a consistent rock for them for the last however so many years.
Must
and
be nice.
This offense is really kicking it back into high gear like we're used to. So we're starting to get kind of the same old Chiefs that we're used to seeing. And so we'll see how the rest of these next couple weeks pan out. But it's looking like they're kind of on the up and up.
Yeah, Monday Night Football, we had a doubleheader. Start off with Buffalo at Atlanta. This game was all about Atlanta as it was more all about Bijan Robinson as he had 19 carries, 170 yards, and a touchdown, as well as 6 catches for 68 yards. It's over 230 scrimmage yards. And then Drake London with 10 catches, 158 yards, as the Falcons kind of shocked the Bills, as everyone thought this would be pretty heavily a Bills win. But the Bills just did not look great. Credit to Raheem Morris getting his defense ready, as Josh Allen threw 2 picks, 1 to end the game. But, I liked what I saw here from the Falcons. They looked great offensively and defensively as their stars came out to play on Monday Night Football.
I would say the only kind of complaint that you could give for their offense was that they were all but quiet, essentially, in the second half. Obviously, they were slinging it, 21 points in the first half, and then they get a field goal at the end of the game to seal it, 24-14. The defense shut down a very good Josh Allen, who, like Joseph said at the beginning, people are talking about him like he's the MVP. And then James Cook has been a absolute dog in the rushing game for them. And, he still had 87 rushing yards, but they made it to where they kind of took away the Josh Allen factor, which was good. And a lot of 3-and-outs from the Bills is what I was seeing, where they just could not get drives going. The offense was struggling to move the ball. Michael Penix looked a lot better. Obviously, Drake London is a stud, and so you like to see him get going. And obviously, if you want to have success in the offense, you got to just hand the rock off to Bijan Robinson. 170 rushing yards, that's ridiculous. He's obviously the best player on their team. People are talking about him like he could be the MVP. Who knows? Falcons are very up and down, where when they're playing good football, they are, looking like one of the better teams in the NFL, and then when they're not playing good, it's like it just looks horrible for them. And it kind of it falls a little bit on the play of Michael Penix, and how he's doing.
absolutely.
If he's not playing great, then the offense is just stalling out. The defense is usually pretty consistent, but he looked good. Hopefully he can continue that success. And the Bills dropped 2 games in a row as they lost to the Patriots the week before, so we will see what they come out with next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, they're on a bye next week, but the week after we will see what they come out with. But we'll briefly mention the Bears-Commanders game as the Bears, Jake Moody, their new kicker, walks it off in the rain. This was kind of a slop fest because of the rain in the second half, but a lot of missed tackles, a lot of slippery footballs. But, the Bears are 3-2. A lot of people overreacting. I think they've played some close games, gotten some things to fall their way. The Commanders, they're 3-3. They got a lot to figure out. They're coming into Dallas next week, so they'll get a nice pick-me-up game. Their offense is going to look amazing. They'll feel really good about themselves leaving, especially offensively next week. So props to them. Before we go, I'm just going to mention that there's another doubleheader next week on Monday night. I don't know what these doubleheader games are, but next Monday night you've got Bucks Lions as the first game and Texans Seahawks at 9 Central as the second game. Why is Bucks Lions not the only game we're seeing next Monday night? I feel like that's a standalone Monday Night Football game.
There have been a lot of complaints about double headers on Monday night, and I kind of agree with the people that are complaining where I'd rather have one good game than two games.
Just 2 games.
Obviously, the Bucks Lions, that's going to be a good game.
It should be.
But then it's like Texans Seahawks. I don't really know about that.
I don't know if that's going to be a good game.
Rather just have Bucks Lions by itself, but just trying to increase viewership or whatever, make more money, whatever the case may be. Cool to see. Interesting to see Jake Moody kicking a game-winning field goal just because he got cut from the 49ers for his.
It was a 38-yard field goal.
Inability to kick the ball, but while it was only 38 yards, that's a high-pressure situation.
It is. We've seen him miss.
We had very much so seen him miss, but good for him for making a statement. Are the Bears actually good? I don't think so. Still not impressed by Caleb Williams. The Commanders are they took a step back as to what we saw last season from them. Jaden Daniels.
Which we expected.
We'll see what happens. Obviously, next week he's going to throw for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns or whatever. Deebo Samuel's going to look like the greatest wide receiver to ever walk the face of the earth. But we're just going to have to come out and answer blow.
Put up 50.
Defense is going to give up 49. Offense has got to put up 50.
That's how it goes.
Here's in our shows and under review. This quote was an interesting one. We were talking about the other day off air. Saw it on Twitter. Seen it on Twitter a couple times, and we talked about Baker Mayfield a lot. So we'll just harp on him one last time we end the show. And it was a good analogy of kind of who Baker Mayfield is. And it was said that Baker Mayfield is the Tom Brady of Johnny Manziel's. And I think that just about
let that sit there for a sec. Just think about it, and when you really think about it, you'll agree with it because that was a really good point. Whoever made that, great tweet.
Seen it on Twitter.
Love it as a quote of the week.
Don't know who the original guy was, but we'll see.
Genius tweet. Thank you for tuning in this week. We'll see you next week with another episode of Under Review.